Renowned rapper Kiernan Forbes, popularly known as eNCA, has been shot and killed in Durban. He had been in eThekwini for a performance. KZN police say the multi-award winner and his close associate were leaving a restaurant on Florida Road when suspects opened fire on them. Our reporter Ngobile Madlala is on the scene and she joins us now live. Ngobile, I can see the visuals behind you where people are now starting to leave flowers where we understand eNCA and his close associate were gunned down last night. Tell us what's happening where you are.
Well, Heidi, yes, you can see more and more people coming in to drop those flowers and sort of pay their respects. Others are driving on the road in Florida and just playing his music. You can see that a lot of people feel hurt about the incident that happened here. It's close to their heart. Others anonymously just leaving those flowers, but pay tributing to the artist. But also earlier on, before you came to us, there was a lady that came out to speak to us. So I'm going to ask her to introduce herself, ma'am, and just tell us what exactly were you saying earlier?
My name's Renee Burton, and I'm the appointed spokesperson for the UIP and the venues. So really what we want to stress here is that this is an ongoing investigation, and we have given our full cooperation because we want justice to be served efficiently. But even more than that, we want to stress the fact that 2 lives have been lost here today. And it's about us as South Africans, our resilience, about sending love and strength to the families that have been impacted by this loss.
I mean, I can imagine that you had a different dream for this road, Florida being the area where a lot of people come to have fun, and to have an incident like this is not good at all. Tell us what's going on at this point.
I think what we do have to be careful of is that we don't take this one incident and create a narrative around it. I think what we want to implore the public to do is that we need to stick to the facts, because that's the way justice will be served. And I think the vision for Florida Road and for the businesses that are subsequently involved will at some stage resume with their vision and their strategies for their respective businesses.
And I mean, I can imagine that's in your best interest, but I do also imagine that it's in your best interest to also send condolences to these families. Have you been speaking to them at all?
We are in close liaison with the families. We do wish to keep that private because they have lost loved ones. And if we lead by being human beings first, and if we lead by being South African human beings first, to not overuse the phrase Ubuntu, it's really what needs to be practiced very aggressively right now.
Also, just lastly, out of interest, did you know anything about eNCA, and do you have a favorite song?
In my past life, I worked for a very well-known radio station, so my interaction with him was quite regular. And he was a person who lived his passion. But similarly, Tabelo, chasing his dream within the chefing industry, also was, these were 2 individuals that lived their passion. And I think we should be remembering that and amplifying that as well.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. These are some of the ladies that are also coming in to pay tribute and pay respect to eNCA. So a lot of people, Heidi, coming out here, dropping flowers, but at the same time, also just remembering the artists. So we're going to cross the road because some of them are parked here and playing music and just remembering the artists. So we're going to speak to some of them about what is currently happening. So we know that you've been here playing the music and you remembering the artists. What do you remember about him?
For me, eNCA is the most influential South African rapper. You know, he's paved the way for all the artists who followed from his days of Entity, you know. And I think I've always listed 4 rappers as the artists who really paved the way, who made people start paying attention to South African rappers, you know. AKA Leslie, the Les, who I actually saw there a second ago, Double HP, Ricky Rick. Sadly, 3 of those names are gone. And yeah, it's a tragedy, you know. The artists, like I say, the artists who followed, the Nazis, the Nasty C's, the Shane Eagles of the country. I'm not comparing them by any means, but you know, the road was paved for them, you know, because of the work that was put in by guys like eNCA. So it's a tragedy, man.
And I mean, I can imagine you have a favorite song. Do you have any songs that you have currently that you can play for us and so we can see?
This is one of them, Sim Dope, 10 Fingers. But I think without trying to go too commercial, the #1 hype song of all time for me has got to be All Eyes on Me. Yeah. All Eyes on Me. When you hear that Burna Boy intro, you hear it in the club and it just hypes you up. #1 for sure.
And so which one is it that you're currently listening to?
Sim Dope.
Why do you like it so much?
I think this was a slightly darker angle. The beats is probably one of the best beats he's ever had. This entire album, I think, was his best body of work for me. Levels, brilliant album.
All right, thank you very much for speaking to us. So we'll let you continue with your music. Well, Heidi, a lot of people are just remembering the artists. You can see a lot of people gathering in this area. And of course, there are police as well as some of the news reporters that are here, because of course this is of importance. But a lot of people here remember him for the work that he has done, for all that he has represented. You can hear that they're saying that he played a huge role in the music industry. So a lot of people still here gathering, wanting to hear more, wanting to know what happens more. I think it's very interesting that a lot of people are reiterating that they want to hear that justice has been served accordingly. And of course, just to remember that the family has lost somebody of importance, and they've lost a member of the family, and a lot of people also having, two lives being lost there. These are the flowers that have been left here just to remember the artists, to remember both of them really who have lost their lives here.
Okay, thank you so much for that update. That is our reporter Ngobile Madlala out in Durban, Florida Road.